Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Live with Rose in the Shed. I hope everyone's well. It is Wednesday night, another week down and another week closer to our elections. I am going to call up our comments page and hope that I can see who's in the shed with me now. Turn interview. Okay, so we're good. Doing a little sound check as always. It's a little tricky for me on my own without my managing pro. So I hope I am talking and speaking to an audience out there. Just going to get started. I am excited to have this last week on the road with everyone. As many of you know, if you've been joining me the last 2 weeks, I am in Arizona. My husband and I hopped in the car. We had had enough of COVID and the whole lockdown and said we are going to take a little break. We are lucky to be able to do that. I know not everyone is so fortunate. So we did. That's exactly what we did. We hopped in the car and we rented. We did one of those Airbnb kind of places. And then we decided to have the last week in a hotel. So I am feeling royally spoiled here. But I am trying to continue to have a dialogue with each and every one of you. Normally people watch this in the review and not when I'm live, so it's always a little awkward for me starting out, but I don't know, I guess we all talk to ourselves sometimes. Today, what is today about? Today is about having a conversation. Two things. If you are south of the border, because we've got lots of Canadian friends and followers, if you are south of the border, you know that we are counting down. It is a little under a week until the official voting takes place, although I understand some more than 60 million people, myself included, have already headed to the polls to cast our vote. Am I going to tell you who I voted for? No, I'm not, because that might sway you politically, and I don't want to do that. That's not what Womanscape does. But I would encourage you, first and foremost, get out there and vote if you're south of the border. It's super, super important. We've talked quite a bit in the past, stories about suffragettes and people that have made a difference. We fought to have the vote. Democracy is something that we can't lose sight of how important it is. And you all know that. So here's what I'm thinking about first. I always like to start with something a little light, and I'll try to be a little more entertaining. So I planned something fun. I was thinking about all the ads here, and I don't know how you're feeling. Big shout out. Hello back. I see I've got my production manager in the house, so that's great. I'm glad that we are live. I'm going to like that and say thank you. And so here's what I've got. I've got a fun little video, and for me, this is what the election has been all about. So I suppose this is political if you think dogs are political. So here we go. Okay, so two things I love about this fun start. Two little dogs running around the corner. They're front and center, just like we've had for Trump and Biden. And they both look so innocent and doughy-eyed and cute. I don't think Trump and Biden are cute, but I love that they are tussling there, and they're each trying to throw the other down the stairs. So that's what the ad campaigns are all about here. So I love that. I thought that was a nice, innocent, fun little start to what we're facing with the election. I don't know who's going to be falling down the stairs and who's going to remain standing on top, happy and glowing, but we'll see, right? We will see. So what I want to do is take you away first before we dive a little deeper. So I got these hand signals going on. It looks a little strange, but what I did was I put together something with a little bit of music. It's some of the driving experiences that I've had here. And you're kind of like, well, I get in my car every day. What's the big deal? I don't really care to watch what Rose is driving or seeing. They're in Arizona. Hello, my friend Judith. But you're right in time, Judith, because I do want to show you what I have noticed about this beautiful sky here in Arizona. So I hope you enjoy this. It was magnificent as far as I was concerned. Hey, hi, Devika. Good to see you too. I'm so happy to share this with you. This color is amazing. So tell me what you think. Here we go. Okay, now you know why I feel so happy here. Thanks for the comments. It does look like heaven, doesn't it? This has been a reset for me. I get on everybody's case a lot. I appreciate all of you being here today, and I really thought, what can I do to give you a little bit of how nature can heal us? And we all know that. We've talked about this every single week. But that's the camera view toward the end. That is me on top. Thank you. That is me on top of Dove Mountain, even the name Dove and peace. There is just something so compelling about this heat out here that I seriously want to move here. I love all my friends, and you guys are just have to come with me. We're going to have to plan some getaways if I know I can have family and friends come and stay with me. This driving the clouds every single day, and those were just a couple of the snippets that I got to share with you. Just the richness of the colors and the way they striate. There's just something magical about the air and the view of the mountains that's very healing. So I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was the perfect way to kind of set up what I'd love to talk to you today about. Next week, there's a great bridge. It's going to be right after voting. Some of you won't be able to join me if you've got work schedules where you can't. But at 9 a.m. next Wednesday, I'm going to have a book author in here that's talking about her new book called Bravish. And I'm hoping she's going to take us on some of her journeys. She's traveled to more than 50 countries around the world, and she's done a lot of living. And she talks about being what she calls, quote, a recovered perfectionist. And I thought, I don't know if people are going to identify with perfectionists. I'm not a perfectionist. And then I thought, oh God, I kind of am, just like a little bit for some things. And I don't know about you guys, but I do find myself, and maybe it's getting older, I'm getting a little pickier about stuff when I should just let it go. When I see those skies and that beautiful view, I want to let it go. So if you are compelled and you really love those skies, what I did want to do was show you my garden tour. And I'm going to be honest, I signed up to do this garden tour and everything is so dry and burnt. It's because they've had more than 100 days, I guess this year, it's completely unusual, of more than 100-degree weather. So a lot of stuff was shriveled up, and everybody's kind of seen an aloe tree and some cactus and stuff. So I thought, I don't really have much to say about that. So I had to kind of switch topics. But that's okay, because I am going to take you a little bit behind our podcast person tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about something that's kind of a bridge from last week, and it's about consciousness. So we're going to do two things. We're going to talk a little bit about a woman named Adriana Bertini. When I show you these fashion designs, you're going to flip. So I have a little video with her and some clothing that I cannot wait to show you. Little sneak preview. This dress here, hot pink, is made out of condoms. Everything about it. It is cut, it is sewn, glued, everything else. So this is what Adriana calls fashion art and art activism. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So that's a good preview, I think. But I also want to just continue on, especially because, well, and I know both Devika and Judith, you're in Canada, so you're not experiencing all the election hoopla to some extent. I know that I'm sure it's making big news there. But I really feel like there is definitely a consciousness that has nothing to do with me even being in Arizona. And that is the world on this, and I think Time Magazine this week called it the Great Reset. I don't really like the Great Reset in the way that they talk about it, because I worry about what that means in terms of data collection, in terms of brain manipulation, and honestly, even like the vaccine and some issues that I have with some of this stuff. But that said, the consciousness part is really good. Shermeen Cruz is one of our contributors in our magazine, and she has an article coming out that's about when is enough enough. And I'm going to do just a little sneak preview with Shermeen's article, hoping, Shermeen, that you're going to watch this in the replay. It's an amazing article because it is that moment we've all experienced in COVID, and it's, why am I really here? My ego is completely destroyed. I have to follow rules. I'm on lockdown. There are things I can't do. I need to wear a mask. When is it appropriate? When is it not appropriate? There's a big collective good right now that's all about protection and, quite honestly, fear. I think we're afraid. What's going to happen? What if I get sick? What if somebody I know gets sick? So what I'd like to do is talk about that consciousness in a much different way. There's a guy you've all heard of. His name is Carl Jung. I think it's late 1800s, 1870, maybe early 20th century. And he is kind of a philosopher, scientist, doctor. And he talks about us as individuals, as human beings. We go through 3 phases. And these phases are really interesting. I'm going to kind of pop something up that I think is really cool and speaks to this. And hopefully this is meaningful. So we go from birth. So this idea of we're born and we don't know anything about ourselves, and over time, our ego develops. So it develops firstly in a very physical way, and the physical way is we have needs. I need to be fed. I'm hungry. I need shelter. I need water. I want to feel loved. So I need hugs, all that kind of stuff. So we go from the ego being higher level, we learn, our intellect develops, and we start to get emotional attachments to things. They may be emotional attachments to our friendship that we have with each other. It's our parents, our job. It's, for some people, Marie Kondo would say, throw out those extra clothes if you're not emotionally attached, if they don't bring you joy. So emotional is something that can take many, it can go on many levels for different things, different reasons. But I think the spiritual is where we're at today. And the spiritual is that collective consciousness that we hope we're coming to. So if you notice, the cloud that I chose, I'm guessing everybody noticed that you stepped back and you saw that it's an angel. That angel is on purpose. I hope you don't mind, Judith. Judith and I have had lots of conversations about angels, and angels as being a higher being, a higher force. If you don't believe in angels, that's fine. The idea of a higher consciousness is found in pretty much any world religion, any kind of practice, whether it's Buddhism, any kind of spiritual connection or evolution, where the social consciousness is really that we are higher beings. It's not just about the ego, us, ourselves, but about the collective with the good. So I have the word spiritual in there, or collective consciousness, the spiritual being the top, because I think truly everybody is racing to that. What does life mean? So last week I spoke about a woman who's, she's interesting. I don't agree with everything she says, and I'm not a yoga Zen person. I don't know, Judith does yoga, Devika, I don't know if you do yoga or not, but people that do yoga speak about a higher level. And I do know from climbing mountains and doing things of big physical exertion, I've done Kundalini yoga maybe twice, there is definitely this consciousness that leaves your body and is outside of yourself. I don't know what all of you think. I had an out-of-body experience once on an acupuncture table where I thought I just went to sleep, but I actually saw my body lying on the table. I was having some needles put in there for pain. I was playing a lot of tennis, and it was for my lower back. So I don't know. It is calming. I think yoga helps you breathe. You're right, Judith. All those things, and I think it helps you to kind of expose yourself to feel the world around you. So where I'm going with this is a few people that I've been listening to have been saying, now is the time to have a higher consciousness. Look for the signs around you. And I'm like, okay, what are the signs? We all probably know them, especially if you consider yourself to be a little intuitive. Woman named not Cheryl Ladd. We know who Cheryl Ladd was from Charlie's Angels. Actually, it's Lori Ladd or something like that. She talks about consciousness in different ways. And I think I mentioned a little bit. Physically, I have pain, so I'm conscious of pain. Intellectually, gosh, I feel really stupid sitting in this room. So, there's a consciousness about how you fit in. Emotionally, oh God, my skin's getting old. I'm getting wrinkles. Emotionally, I feel less worthy or more worthy, or I'm an egotist or something, so that's that kind of consciousness. I think the last one is that spiritual one. And that's, for me, it's become being more prayerful and more God-centered. And doing that has made me more grateful. I am grateful for those beautiful views that I see, the drives, the time taken out of the fray so that I choose when I'm watching the news, and I flip through CBS, I flip through Fox, and I do NBC. I'm having a hard time doing CNN, but I'll flip through 3 different ones at least, and I can choose consciously what I want to expose myself to, what I want to listen to. But here's what I love about her. I think it's a visit that we all need to do, and she talks about her own consciousness every day and gives advice. So to whatever extent you can, keep doing that. Keep doing that, because I think we're in this situation for a long, long time. It took me getting into a car and driving somewhere else to actually commune with that consciousness. So I probably could have done it in my own backyard, but there was something about leaving behind and going forward. And maybe it was my crazy house too. Then we got a lot of stuff going on there. So with that, that's kind of my thing for this is how we're going to survive, by having that consciousness. Cool thing this weekend, it's unusual. October has been a month of moons, full moons. So Saturday night, Halloween night, is a blue moon, or a harvest moon as it's called. And I forget all the ins and outs about it, but it's that the moon, we know as a full moon, is closest to the earth at that time of the month. But it's also that it lines in a certain way. And I don't know, Judith or Devika, if anyone can explain that, but that's what the moon is about. That's going to be quite cool. So I'm going to look for that and see if there's a spiritual feeling or consciousness connected to that. Okay, so let's get into Adriana. What about Adriana? Okay, things to tell you. This woman that you're going to hear from tomorrow when you hear the podcast, she lives in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I've shown you that little fashion pic of her. And this is my little ad here for Sipping on Stories. It's not really our logo, but this is what's always center stage on Thursday. What I do want to show you, however, is what she has created. So I'm going to just show you this little fashion shoot that I think you're going to find really cool. Okay? Ah, it's the wrong one. It didn't come up. Okay, let's see if I can. Something has happened here. I will call up my default. Let's try it again. Did it not go? All right. Here's where I'm missing you, production guy. Let's see if I can pop this in and do a little bit of an overlay. Yeah, let's see. I got a little bit of noise coming in the background too. Okay, so while you are waiting, I'm going to give you something happy to think about. That is just my screen here. Okay, for some reason it is not playing, so I am definitely having some technical difficulties, but that's okay. I am going to see if I can bring it to you. Oh, this is a good one. Don't know if you can see my screen. That's my Halloween takeaway. I'm going to have to talk you through. I've got it lined up here. So let's see if I can get it to play sideways, because this is a pretty cool picture. Let's just pull it up and I'll grab it from my list here. Because it is so cool. Okay, you can take a look at this one here, and here we go. I will pull this down here and see if I can do a screen share. Okay. So I'm now on a screen share. It's a little bit small, so I will make it a little bit bigger, but here we go. Okay. Not running either. Okay, we're going to have to skip out of this one. Let's see. Oh, darn. All right. I had it all lined up too, and for whatever reason, my programming here has defaulted. So I have a feeling all of my old ones are absolutely wiped, which is really weird. So apologies. I've got a great couple of photos to show you. I'm going to see if I can do it by screen sharing this way. There's my background. For Sipping on Stories. So you will see that, and I am going to try to play my movie. So I'm going to have to open it with my downloads. Let's give it a go. See if that works. Let's go full screen. So hopefully you're seeing this.
No objeto de investigação, porque eu acredito que ele, esteticamente, ele tem uma potência de transformar comportamento, principalmente ligado à moda, ao vestimento, que a indumentária, eu acho que é o conceito mais perto do vestir-se com trás, né? Eu acho que eu não sou estilista, sou artista plástica, eu acho que a estética e a arte têm o poder de transformar comportamento. E eu acredito que o impacto da roupa aproxime as pessoas do preservativo, principalmente num país que tem tanto tabu, tem tanto preconceito. Eu acho que juntar isso com a HF é a prevenção combinada, que é preservativo, teste e o tratamento.
So, I'm going to flip back to my camera so you can see me. So give me a little thumbs up. Were you able to see that? Did you get to see that fashion show with Adriana? I am hoping so. I think that's a yes. Okay, well, I'm going to assume that you got to see that. That was a little sneak preview of her. And actually, I've got a really great list of costumes. And this is what I want to show you. I'm calling them costumes, but actually they're hardly costumes. They really are. They've done the catwalk. So I'm going to show you this as well, so that I share my screen and you can see it. Oh, good. Okay, so you did get to see it. This is a ridiculously small picture. But again, I'm having some technical difficulties, but good. You can see all of these dresses. Unfortunately, you cannot see them up close as I had originally planned on my screen. So I've kind of jimmied my way around the screens a little to show you. But this one for sure is up close. And I can just make this a little bit bigger. I think I can make it a little bigger. No, it's not letting me do it on the fly. It's letting me move it around, but not on the fly. So Adriana, her story is that essentially she's devoted her life. I call her the Mother Teresa of Sao Paulo. So those of you that know about Sao Paulo, I don't know how many people have been to Brazil, but the city of Sao Paulo itself, there's actually they don't know how many people live in the city. It's anywhere from 22 to 40 million people. I've had I'm going to call it a privilege of going to Mumbai and seeing what it's like to have all of your senses completely assaulted. The smells, the noise, the pollution, the everything about it. It's just an exhausting city. It's fascinating and electric, but exhausting. Sao Paulo is the same thing, only the poverty level is so extreme. So Adriana is born and bred there. She's just the kind of person who was raised in a family that cared about service to others. Her father was a professor at university, and he instilled this service to her. So when Adriana was like 9-10 years old, she was doing things like going out into the streets and reading to people. And doing things. So she developed this love of fashion and started designing clothing and doing all kinds of things. But she also saw that AIDS was huge there. Friends she had in the fashion world were dying of AIDS when it was such really an epidemic that was killing so many people, and it was before there were any kind of HIV drugs. So she took it upon herself and you'll hear it tomorrow, but she spent years developing an artistic way of bringing attention. And so those fashion costumes were it. And I was going to see if I can get one more for you. Because I do have one other street scene that's really like crazy beautiful. I don't have it here. I can't grab it. But anyway, okay, so this is her story essentially, that she does this in Sao Paulo, and she uses condoms. She cuts them more than 200 different ways to create these fashion things. She is collected by collectors all over the world. It's absolutely astounding. I think it's the stuff of martyrs and saints. You will see when you see the interview how calm and grounded and peaceful she is. I don't share it in the interview, but she contracted COVID. She said that the people that she works with are all members of LGBTQ, and they don't have things like clean water to wash and to bathe. They're sex trafficked. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. And she goes out into the town squares and she meets with people and brings them in. And then she also has done things like, she apparently does have a TED Talk. I'm going to work to get her a bigger global TED Talk with our friend Charmaine, if I can put something together, because there's a number of people I've met now. One fascinating woman in Australia that's doing something pretty cool too. So I wanted to share that with you, and hopefully inspire you. If you're like me, and thank you, our producer there is sharing the Sipping on Stories links. The story is actually up on the sippingonstories.com website. Our webmaster has done a fantastic landing page for that with condoms on it, so I think you're going to love it. Is it provocative? Yes, I think it is, but it's something we need to be talking about. So I love it. So before I wrap, I'm wondering if you guys have any questions. I really wanted to bring you that. Wanted to bring you a little inside scoop on Adriana, talk a little bit about voting and consciousness. Again, my buttons aren't working, but I pulled some great scenes that I had from 2016, was it 2016? 2018 at the Women's March in New York City. I stood on the bridge of 42nd Street and Fifth Avenue, really, or where it intersects. And it was hordes of people exercising democracy. And I really wanted you to see that. And I know we've seen probably so much marching that maybe it's overkill. The marching looks different today than it did back in 2018, that's for sure. But I thought it was important to press that message home, find peace, definitely vote, be inspired. The world keeps spinning. You can decide how you spin with it and how to make it meaningful. I cannot stress that enough. I think that we can live. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Judith. You're always so great. I'm really feeling rested today. It's a good day. I'm hoping this is coming up. This is my group of lady friends. I have this up. This is our lovely Denise Benson, our photojournalist. I got away with her last year and we saw an exhibit in California, and that was done at a gardening center. And I thought that's the kind of gardening center I would have loved to have brought you to, Judith and Devika and anyone that's going to watch the video replay. So anyway, I just want to send you off tonight, and little cheers with a little happy music. Okay, and it never hurts to hear this again. So this is what I want you to do. Make sure every day you take time like that little boy in the back seat to dance, and make it a great weekend ahead, and make every single day count. I am excited, hopefully, to see you back again next Wednesday. So I won't be here normal time. It will be Wednesday morning, 9 p.m. live, and then we'll just show the replay for anyone that needs to catch it later. Other than that, I think I have hit everything. I didn't talk about the Chicago 7 at all. I felt like the politics are way too much overkill. I do have a good movie around that I've yet to show you on Elon Musk. Maybe that's more food for thought. Thanks, Devika. Yeah, okay, so you got to come and visit me, ladies. It's time to come to Arizona and do road trip, I think. But anyway, I look forward to seeing everybody next time, okay? Take care. I really appreciate you tuning in, and have a great rest of your evening, all right? Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Signing off. If I can figure out how to sign off. Here we go. Yeah, have a good night. Bye-bye.